Welcome to East Tennessee Pinball. Up for breakfast, we've got a Captain Fantastic. This game's, I've just pulled the cabinet board out here, sitting up here and taking a gander at it. And first thing you recognize right away is we got a lamp cordage. So somebody has bypassed some of the wiring loom that was originally in the game. It's pretty easy to see what was cut out of it. This red wire here would have been soldered there. It's just set free there. If you follow down here, you find that same red wire right here. It's been snipped. It's that top left Jones plug. You come down here to the cabinet. There's that red and white wire again. But remember, all this is bypassed. Follow that red and white wire. Over here, it's snipped again. Oh, and there's the little remnants of that red and white wire. And there's the other end of the lamp cord. So somebody has soldered it, and not extremely well, but it's soldered. And what they've accomplished is bypassing this Jones plug. So they probably wasn't making a good connection, and somebody just took kind of a brute force approach. A better approach would be to clean this thing, bend it back a little bit, get yourself a bore brush to clean the inside of that, and obviously clean the male side of the other end, and get the surfaces clean. Make sure you've got a good pressure on the connection, and they should service well. The other thing you can do to help alleviate the problem on some of these games, I'm not sure which one that runs, but if that one is running one of the lights, so we got 3 fuses over here. One of those is for the lights for the head, one is the lights for the play field, and one of them is for all the solenoids. The ones that you typically get really hot are the ones that are driving the lights, because they just draw a lot of amperage. So 2 things you could do is either change the bulbs from 44s to 47s. That'll reduce the current by about 1/3. Or you can go all the way to LEDs. That will eliminate the heat in your circuit pretty much. But a lot of people, myself included, probably wouldn't want to put LEDs in a Captain Fantastic. So let me show you another little issue. Just looking around here, look at this wire here. I mean, it is just burnt the insulation off of it. In fact, if you look at this plug again, there where my pinky's at, it just melted the plug right out of there. That bottom left one, it's the one that goes right there, and you see all the heat damage on there. So that tells me 2 things. First, at least at some point, and possibly still now, this game has been overfused. You're not going to get stuff like that if it's properly fused. So what happens if you overfuse it? It'll find the next weakest link, and in this case, the next weakest link was that Jones plug and the associated wire. So we've got problem with the fuses. Oh, by the way, these type of fuse holders, they're generally pretty crappy. Yeah, that one's going to have to go. So, they're just old and tired. A lot of times one of these will be broken off, or they've just been flexed too many times. These other ones are okay. I'll just swap them, all 3 of them out. Anyway, those fuse holders will give you just continuing problems. It's best if they've got any weakness at all, just swap them out. So we've got this issue here. So that's telling us that green and white wire, we can look on the schematics and figure out which one that goes to. But I'd bet money that's going to that's powering the coils, the solenoids. So if we look around here, I've already looked. I'm going to cheat. I already know what the answer is. I've already looked on the back of the playfield. So let's just jump ahead. Here's the back of the playfield, and I've taken apart the pop bumpers. I unhooked them, but this is one of the flipper assemblies, and I did not disassemble these wires here. Somebody else did that. That coil's all burned up. I have ohmed this coil out, and indeed it is shorted out. So this coil shorted out caused the damage to the wire on the other in the cabinet, and probably most likely reason that burn up was the end of stroke switch was not adjusted so that it basically turns the power way down when you hold the flipper button and the flipper's up. That switch there is supposed to open and reduces the current dramatically through this coil. And if it doesn't, it will burn up when you hold the coil in. So it's a real common fault for these games. So before I go through and clean all the switches and what I would normally start with, I'm going to do some rewiring. Get this thing cleaned up. A couple other things I wanted to show you. So just a tip that I've picked up from other people. You see this this bar here. I've cleaned this one little section here just real quick. These little I don't even know what the name of them are. They're basically like a pencil eraser, but they're embedded with grit. They're made for sharpening knives. I found out about these from Joe's Arcade, if you've ever seen any of his videos. But when you get a little surface rust like this, I mean, it takes it right off. You know, just if I pull this glass out here and do it when I'm holding the thing better, you can see how quickly that just comes off. Worth their weight in gold. So anyway, that's where we're at with this thing. But it will come along. The playfield is actually the best thing on this game. Actually, it's got the damage behind it, but the playfield is actually pretty nice. I think this game is going to be a winner when it's done. I've already got it stripped mostly, but the back glass is pretty dirty, but it's all there. I think the back glass will clean up. The cabinet, the paint is relatively decent. I think this is going to be a really nice game when it's done. So I'll send you some updates in the future. Adios.